Hey everybody, welcome to Truth Tuesday, the second half. Over on my channel. The first half was over on Lisa's. If you missed it and you're watching this later, you can go and check that out after you check this one out. Which probably won't be super long, but
what was the thing that you said? Remind me.
Yeah,
what was the AstraZeneca thing or the peso, Argentina peso?
No, it wasn't either one of those.
Oh, come on.
What was it?
I don't know.
Do you remember?
Nope.
It wasn't about we're talking about
the bank shorts.
No, you were talking about that way before.
Oh, I was talking about the violence coming to the streets. Uncle Cliff's data. Yes.
Violence coming to the streets. Right. Mm-hmm. So, remember I told you that I think the Boogaloo, if there is a second, confrontation, that it's not going to be between people that much. I'm sure there will be some limited, I think the main thing will be the military will fight amongst itself, and then whoever wins,
police or like sheriffs or whatever.
Police. Like there might be some cities versus sheriff's departments, but I think that's where the fight will be. I don't think it's going to be super organized, unless like Texas or a certain state where it's secede, and then other states would come like happened before. But if it's like a law gets put out, and we're like, oh no, that's it, we're not doing that. I think it'll be the institutions that will fight. I don't think it'll be long.
What happens in a bank failure or bail-in and people go and rush the streets and then they're like, oh, there's too much. Everyone stay home, calm down. We're going to decide over the weekend who's going to be made whole or not. I mean, that I think they could see, bringing in martial law or something to control the people.
Watching Ninja or old Johnny Bravo, they're like best friends now. They all both moved to Texas, but one of them hangs out with me. Okay.
They moved to Texas?
Yeah.
I didn't know Ninja moved to Texas.
I believe he did. I know that Johnny Bravo did. And I know they're always talking about hanging out together.
Interesting. I don't know who Johnny Bravo is.
He's got super, super high hair. He was a teacher in California and has like 5 daughters or some crazy number. And he gathered everybody up and moved to Austin. Like everyone else from California. But
why would they move to Austin? I mean, if you're trying to get out of California, like Austin is mini California.
But to Californians, Austin is, so different. Oh my God. It's,
Really?
Yeah, of course. If you're coming from, coming out of prison and living in the projects is great. But they've already been saying, if you have over like 100,000 or 200,000 or whatever, take it out. It's not insured, and you can lose it. You probably will.
Yeah, I think it's coming.
And and this so what I've seen is, and Tennessee passed this law. Did you hear about that? They passed a law and that's the thing, dude. The left and the media are totally blowing this out of proportion. They're arming teachers so that they won't have school.
Oh, good.
But they're not. It's not what they're doing. They are allowing concealed carry for teachers right?
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous how hard it is. They have to go through like a safety course, like 80 hours of law enforcement training, which is like, that's an insane amount. So it's like 2 40-hour classes. And then they have to get written permission from their principal, the superintendent of the school system, and the chief law enforcement officer of their town or county. So the county sheriff or the chief of police. All of that so that they can carry on school grounds. And then it has to be concealed. So it's very difficult, it's serious, but everything on CNN and everything is like, they're arming teachers and your kids are going to be going to a military type school and blah blah blah, and it's not what they say that it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty restrictive. I think they should just make it, and also it's by school districts, not even by county. So your school district could say we're not going to allow that, and then that's it. So if you don't,
and who makes those decisions? The school board,
yeah,
I
the
guess.
school board. Yeah. So once again, it's putting power back into as local as you can get it. It's not even by county; it's by school district. But there's all these movements for secession, and it's not total secession, but it's like the Greater Idaho movement. We want to leave Oregon because we don't think we're represented, and we want to join Idaho. These counties want to, but it happened in Louisiana, which
we talked about that last week. I think that what was it called? Baton Rouge, I think.
Yeah, they like they're the mayor of the town it's like super ultra liberal, and they didn't like it. They hated their policies, and they formed their own, basically just their own like LLC, their town.
Mm-hmm.
So they just made their own town against the town so they could have representation. And I mean that is revolution already. That's what we did. We said, hey, we don't want to be part of England. We want to be.
I'm not going to be part of those. Those rules are not for me. Yeah, we're making our own.
Where that basically we said, you're not representing us, and you're taxing us, and we don't like what you're doing politically. We want to have our own representatives. That's exactly what the revolution started as. And then there's several sheriff's departments and city police departments that have said, we're not going to enforce this law, whatever the law that comes out. Usually it's about firearms, because a cop knows it's just a job, and you can't do it forever. So you're just a regular American citizen. Most cops know they're garbage men. They're a city employee. They get a paycheck from the city just like the garbage men do. Some places, garbage men make more than cops do. I think my town was one of them. They're like some of the lowest paid cops there are, and garbage men make, I think, like $25 an hour or something, and cops make like $1,600 a month or something. I think it's even less when you first join. But so we're there. We're already there. And if you start look back on this when we first had our Revolutionary War, and I said this about when about Greg Abbott, when all the reporters were saying, hey, if you're blocking these cartels and these people from coming in here, they're just going to go further down and enter in through Arizona and New Mexico. And he was like, that ain't Texas, bro.
Yeah, not my problem. Yeah.
No, yeah, not a
Which
problem.
you've talked about that for a long time. Like, you have respect for somebody that's like really looking out for their people and doing what's best for them, even if it means it's bad for someone else,
But
because you've been elected by the people of your community.
that shocked me because he, we're like, hey man, fuck them. If they want to protect their border like we do, okay, we would actually help. We would send troops, like Florida has sent troops, like other northern states have sent troops.
Oklahoma, yeah.
So this is not just a southern thing. But if they're gonna go with the Biden policies, we don't care. We care about Texas, and that is how our colony used to be. When it first started, people didn't think of themselves as a colony, as the United States. Their state was their country, and they cared more about their state than any other state. And when you realize that, when you realize how it really was, the way of thinking really was, when I forget his name, when he stood up in the brand new Continental Congress that was still like underground, and he said, I am no longer a Virginian, I am an American.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was like, you're already an American. What? But since I've looked into it now, and that was a huge thing. That is literally like Hungary, the representative standing up saying, I am no longer a Hungarian. I am an EU citizen.
That's kind of the slippery slope of the globalist, though, right? Because then you're saying, caring less about those close to you, the local, and being like, oh no, for the good of humanity.
That's for globalism. But wait, that's not what America, and I've forgotten just how crazy the idea of America is. I mean, how much it was, but how much it still is. We've changed that. There's not that much of an indistinguishable thing between us and most European countries. There's some European countries that are more free. Russia has more freedom in some ways than the United States. So, what is this one? Costco jaded. They see the worst society every day. Yes. And that is not just them, but prison guards. One of my best friends, he was a prison guard. He just retired, thank God. But they think a different way because there's a perfect example. I said the polls are showing Biden beating Trump in some places, and they're neck and neck everywhere else. And Lisa was shocked over there at the beginning.
I was.
That's how these people are. They're surrounded every day by people that did horrible, horrible things. Whether they're, police, or especially if they're prison guards, these people are guilty. They know. This guy ate kids, whatever. And there's so many people. They're like, I'm the weird one because I'm a normal person and I don't want to do evil. I'm weird.
Other people, right?
Yeah, there's so many of these evil people that when they leave, they look at everyone around them completely different. Their state of mind is very different. It's so poisonous. I mean, I could see it. My friend, it was killing him, and he hated it. It's every time I talk to him, it's like, hey, how you been?
Oh, we just had a new graduating class and I posted the video about it, at least on Twitter. I probably shared it in the Telegram group. You can find the link over on my channel after you watch this. But they, and a few years ago, our oldest daughter she's going to school. She was going to be an attorney, and then she's like, never mind, I'm going to help, because she wanted to help kids that were going through divorces with their parents arguing and whatever. And so now she's going to be going into counseling and trying to help kids that way, which I'm so happy. But anyway, I digress. She was interviewing at a children's juvenile center, so like a kid prison, and they were telling her how they're changing all the training. You and I did a show about this and talked about how it's different in like Finland, or where they have like they're not cops there to punish them. They're like life coaches as the guards. And when you listen to the pledge that this brand new class just graduated, and they have them repeating the pledge, and it sounds like the life coach thing. Like, we're there to make people better when they come out. We're a rehab, not a prison for punishment. And it was really interesting. So seeing those kind of things, those little pieces start to come together, makes me feel like maybe some things in the background have been done to help us bridge society to a much healthier way of thinking, to love one another, like Christopher River says, and understand people. No one is 100% bad or good, but people can be helped.
Yeah, I
No. I mean, there are some things.
So
I do have limits.
First off, you and me and everyone in the chat, or most people in the chat, can't speak on it. You have no way to understand. The United States is one of the biggest countries in the world. It's insane. So in Finland or Denmark or wherever, we're talking the state of New Jersey.
Right. There's accountability.
It's tiny. It's a tiny amount of people. It's less people than are in some cities. Like if you look at New York or Houston, that's the population of a whole country. And you're like, this country is doing this. Okay. But they don't have to deal with the child eaters. They're not going to have that.
No, because someone would know, and there would be vigilante justice.
Pure evil, exactly. Whenever there is some kind of crazy shit in any of those countries, those people are dead. And so it is a different way.
Was it Greg? We were on World Blockchain Roundtable, or maybe it was Joe. I can't remember. One of them had this story where they said their grandmother told them about, back when the world was much smaller, and like somebody's a kind of adultish or older child stole a horse or something, and it was a very sad and somber moment for the community because everyone knew who it was. They knew what he did, and now he has to be hung and held accountable because he chose that outcome because of his choice and his actions. And I thought it was an interesting way to look at it, because when there's accountability, then people do consider consequences. When there is enforcement and accountability.
And also, it helps. So this is a weird story, but I was like 19, and I was at some store. I had to take a shit, and I went, and I was in the bathroom, and I'm pooping, and I hear this, door opens and people come in, and I hear this guy's like, son, I told you not to do that. You went to steal the car, whatever. He's like, I have to spank you, and I don't want to do this. I was like, I'm actually kind of mad at you that I have to do this, but if I don't do this, then I'm not doing my job as being, your parent, your father. I said that if you do this, you're going to get a spanking. And the kid's like, yeah, I understand. He's like, I don't want to do this. And I was like, that's amazing. I'm going to do that when I kids are here. And I try never, spank when you're angry. Go to your room because I'm too pissed. And then 5 minutes later, talk to them. It's like, hey, I'm going to have to spank you, and they understand. It's like a somber moment, and this is the consequence of your actions. It's not because I pissed dad off.
Right.
So
it's not
times,
personal. Yeah. It was your behavior.
Yeah. I didn't do my homework, and now I got, feeling great. I pissed my parents off. I'm going to get my ass beat. No, it's like, hey, if you're failing, if you didn't do your homework and you failed, because you can't have, any Xbox for the next 6 weeks or anything until the grades come up. If you can, note from your teacher telling me that you're even before the next 6 weeks that you're at, what your average is above a 90, then I'll cut the punishment short, and we don't have to wait for the next report card. That's it. But you. It's not. It's just like you said. It's a somber moment. Everyone knows what's going to happen. And I don't know how we got on that point.
You just never know where we're going to go on a Truth Tuesday.
But there are. Yes, Christopher Rivers. I did say I had to take a shit.
He just did that because he knows I hate bathroom talk.
But she makes poo-poo and pee-pee jokes all the time, just unwittingly. Still here, love free will, justice, and universal laws. Yeah, those are the ones that are important, Jim. Okay, so what did I want to? Oh, so I think we're there. Like we've said that we're definitely having at a cold civil war. But we're moving to a place where
it's going to be out in the open.
I think the migrant thing is we've definitely said, hey, we're going to uphold the law. Basically, we're not going to, and I think that's why Texas has a lot of ground to stand on.
Did you see that Oklahoma passed the law about pushing out the WHO and the WEF?
No, but that would
yeah.
be very cool. But we're like Wyoming, like I think New Hampshire. So many of these high northern countries we stand with what Texas is doing, and which I think is one of the big reasons why you can't just. It's the South, like with the abortion thing. Absolutely, they're putting it out. It's just the South. It's just the South, because, like from Texas, right? You can like certain abortion.
Yeah, they're calling it an abortion desert.
Yeah, and you like
like what the
Saturday Night Live was like, most women will have to travel over 300 miles to get an abortion. Blah blah blah. I remember that, and they showed that it was Texas all the way to the right, which I mean, whatever. That's the state's thing, but I think that's not gonna work anymore. If the North versus South, because there's so many other like northern countries like the Idaho movement, that are just like, we don't want these policies. We don't believe in this.
Hopefully they hold their politicians accountable for those choices as that stuff rolls out,
What do you think about what's going on with colleges and all this protest?
I just think it's part of the Great Awakening thing. I saw a girl crying today because she's a protester. She's not going to get to walk or graduate. And she said, I graduated high school in 2020, so I didn't get to walk then either. So it's interesting. I do agree with, I don't know if it was Joe or Greg, somebody on World Blockchain Roundtable when we were talking afterwards saying, wouldn't it be interesting if you saw the MAGA and the Hamas Free Palestine people kind of come together?
Right.
And that's where, like, when people understand how, like, Israel has been, committing crimes against humanity, and there's certain countries that are, like, trying to turn them into some higher court. That was another thing we had that came out is was it Congress? Somebody was denouncing that higher court, that international court.
It was probably like AOC or Toledo.
No, like a whole group wrote a letter, and
Well,
and they all signed it and stuff. I
that.
put it on the
They're not going to
Telegram.
have that now because people are dumb. So there's fighting now on campuses.
There's no hope, Sean.
Where all of these young conservative people are coming out and chanting USA, USA.
Yeah,
again,
I've seen the preppy boys like protecting the flag and like
and
little frat boys and stuff.
this is absolutely the worst possible thing. We are not.
Right.
We first off, we're the biggest country in the world compared just to Russia. That's it. And our whole northern border, Canada's not going to do shit to us. They're lucky we don't take them over. And Mexico, they ain't doing nothing. We are not at war. We are not going to go to war. No one's going to mess with us. And these young people and other people are going out and arguing for war, and they're taking it's all us versus them. They're not going out going Israel. They're going USA. USA, it's us. We're not at war in Ukraine. We're not at war in the Middle East. And these people are acting like we are. They're out there chanting USA, not Israel.
I don't know that they are. Maybe they're saying America first.
No. That's the movement.
I don't think you want that up there.
It's USA. Oh, promotion on my channel. No. Whatever.
No.
JDO, Jim Montgomery, all our admins. You hit that guy.
The Met gala was last night. There's all kinds of weird imagery, whatever. But while that was happening, there, a distraction. Everybody's watching stupid, rich people half naked bragging about their whatever. There's a Rafah massacre. There's also recently a assassination attempt on the Saudi Arabian prince. Just too much going on. And then Elon just met with President Milei in Argentina, and then magically Argentina comes out with a new dollar, or their peso backed banknote, which I kind of started showing on the thing. But it says it's worth the equivalent about $11, 5 times the value of the previous 2,000 peso bill, a 10,000 peso bill.
Also, the biggest victims of the Ukraine war are Christians. Zelensky is murdering priests, blowing up churches, while Biden is replacing all the Christian ethics that have kept American families safe and righteous with a woke virus. So this is where we're living, man. This is our time. This is our age. I've said you can't, Israel can't come back. They don't have the high ground. The moral high ground. They used to have the moral high ground. They don't have it anymore.
Well, that's why they always used the whole, anti-Semitic. You can't say anything anti-Semitic. You can't ever say anything bad, or you're a bad person.
Right. And
no, we're just looking at their actions.
Our government is saying, if you say the Jews crucified Jesus, that's anti-Semitic and against the law when it comes to the hate speech thing. I have some friends that are messaging me on Facebook hey man, I never knew this stuff. And I'm like, oh, you went down that rabbit hole. They're like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's pretty weird, the kid sex stuff on there. Yeah. They're like, this is I never knew any of this stuff. And they're like, did you know this? I'm like, yeah. Did you know this? Yeah. Did you know this? Yeah. Did you know that Israel was in a war, like they are now, and the United States said, we are not going to be get involved. We're neutral. We're going to be a neutral party. And you know what happened?
Tell me.
Israel attacked our ship, napalmed it, torpedoed it, killed 34 sailors, burnt up 171 people. It said, oh, man, We thought that was an Egyptian ship, even though our spy planes flew by it 9 times.
Mm-hmm.
One time so low that everyone said on the boat said they could see the pilot. So yeah, that's what they did. I mean, they've paid tons of money to the spouses of the, and to the seamen over the years. But
Hey,
yeah.
one more thing before we go, really quick. So there's a thing on the Makings of a Perfect Day movie. It says it would start in Georgia, and just now today, Georgia Election Board Commission confirms over 300,000 ballot images from 2020 election day are missing from Fulton County. This has huge implications in Fannie Wells's case as well.
I want to get an interview with this one dude. I don't know if I'm going to, but I want to try to get an interview with him. I did want to say, it's so odd that if you can hate Andrew Tate. I go back and forth, but it's like during Easter in Romania, every single person gathers at midnight outside a church, takes a flame. The USA can't fill streets unless it's gay pride. The UK can't fill streets unless it's a stab fest. This scene is 2,000 years old. Tradition is beautiful, and we've lost all of our traditions. Everything, like, just so much. The community thing was part of what was the melting pot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Your neighbors moved in. You got to know them. You got to know.
Brought over cookies. Yeah. Or whatever. Now people would think that's weird.
You bring over, here's a plate of gnocchi cookies.
Oh yeah.
They're for dipping it. They're Italian. You learned about cultures from them. Now people learn about cultures from a professor or from someone else that that's racist. Don't do that. Oh, you can't say that. And like, dude, you're a white chick, and you're telling me about what's racist for Indians, for Black people, for Asian people, whereas before in our community, we would just ask the Asian person, hey, does that bother you?
Does that offend you? Yeah.
And other things here,
updates on Veer.
Andrew Tate and his brother were talking about Veer getting arrested. This is the anti-Semitism thing. I said, this one's fun. This is a boat that they attacked. No Jews are involved in killing Jesus, 9/11, or the attack on the USS Liberty. If you look up USS Liberty, it's
wow.
Yeah. It's shocking that they're going after for which $50 million in U.S. tax fraud. So I think maybe he just pays it and walks if he has to.
Surely, if that was possible, that would have already happened. It would not have gotten to the point. Like, I'm sure it's not the first time they talked to him.
Yeah,
there had to be some kind of negotiation or talking or whatever. They don't just swoop in and lock you up.
Well, yeah, they do. So you're giving them a lot of credit. But that's why they're charging with fraud also. So he's going to have to stand trial. Mail fraud, something else. I don't know what that is from. I can understand the thing that they, because what happened was he's denouncing his citizenship. This is 20 years ago. So he could move to St. Kitts and, like an expat. And then they're like, how much Bitcoin do you own? It's like, I own this much Bitcoin. And he was 2 companies he was affiliated with, but the companies had that Bitcoin, not him. It wasn't his personal Bitcoin. It was the companies. And there's a company. So how much do you have? I have, 7,000 Bitcoin. And then that's it. He paid all his money. He's gone. And then they said, hey, you lied. You had these other Bitcoins. Like, no, that wasn't my personal Bitcoin.
They were in the company. Yeah.
So that, to me, it's something very simple. It's like, well, no, you made a mistake. You're going to owe us this much money. I don't know how you get mail fraud out of that and other stuff. Those are the only things that I know that he's charged with.
Well, that's how they locked up Capone, right? They couldn't get him on anything except taxes.
Tax evasion, yep.
And actually, it was about carrying alcohol across state lines and that causing the tax issue or whatever, or event. And then that's how they got him. So it wasn't even for selling it. It was transporting it. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It is nuts.
Making up their own rules.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to wrap it up with that.
All right. You're going to join me Thursday morning on WBRT. I'm hosting.
Yeah.
So everybody should go to den.social. You can log in, sign up with just an email. You can make up a whole new email. It's just for so that if you need customer support, they can contact you or whatever. But there's no KYC. And then you go in and join the WBRT or World Blockchain Roundtable layer. And I'm saying layer LAIR. I know my accent makes it difficult. And there is a question on there. And the question this week is, what is right and wrong in Bitcoin or blockchain?
And you can go put your own questions in there if you want to, ask or have it talked about on the show. And then it gets voted on. Den is it's a decentralized social media platform where you can talk to other people, and it's basically like a Facebook or whatever, with groups. Like there's if you have other interests like photography or whatever, you can join some other groups or dens.
And you can join the Mighty layer, which is my layer, which I need help getting content on there too. So I'd welcome anybody to join that as well.
All right. Well,
all right.
That's about it. We will see you guys later.
What video are you going to do?
Speaking of Dragon Chain, I'll do their new Dracaria thing.
Oh, cool.
Love y'all.